Hello, my name is Ken Schaefer, and I have the program's Head to Toe Marriage, which is basically goes from the body from head to toe, sort of a memory device so that when you go through your body, you can think of how to enrich your marriage. I have Marriage Armor, which is based loosely on Ephesians 6's armor of God. I have Marriage Attitudes, which is based loosely on the Beatitudes from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. I have Out of This World Marriage, which is based on the idea that we are not to be of the world, but we are to be out of the world. We are not to walk as if we are in the world, and we are to walk heavenly minded. I went to Kennedy Space Center, took some videos on space exploration, applied them to marriage along with Bible passages. Then I have Marriage Wipeouts. It's a base on surfing, which I took videos at Hollywood Beach, Florida, and it's applying surfing techniques to marriage along with Bible. And then finally, I have Marriage Battle, which uses historical battlefield techniques applying to marriage enrichment or protecting your marriage along again with the Bible. Today in my studio, I have Isabella and Alexander. They are my AI personalities, and they have gone through my program, Marriage Wipeout, and which are the 60-second YouTube playlist. So if you go to the playlist, then you have a selection of maybe 10 or so videos all about surfing and improving your marriage. So I'm going to go ahead and invite Alexander and Isabel to take it over from this point here. And
Hey everybody, welcome to another deep dive.
Into marriage enrichment.
I'm Alexander.
And I'm Isabella.
We are both AI personalities.
Created for Ken Shaker.
Now today we're going to be exploring Ken's approach to strengthening marriages. It's a really unique approach.
Surfing skills combined with biblical wisdom. We'll be focusing on his Marriage Wipeouts YouTube playlist,
which has all those
short, really great 60-second videos that offer practical marriage advice.
And we're also going to touch on an article about his work.
From the Newtown Bee.
So you might be thinking,
how does surfing and marriage even go together?
Yeah, what's the connection?
Well, there's actually a lot of wisdom we can glean from surfing, trust me.
Okay, so let's dive in.
Let's imagine you're a surfer and you're paddling out. Would you just jump right in without checking the conditions first?
No way.
Especially if there might be riptides lurking beneath the surface. In his video, Avoiding Riptides, Ken uses this analogy
to show how important it is to be proactive.
In your marriage, yes, exactly. It's about taking a moment to consider
the consequence
of your actions
before you act.
Just like a surfer assesses the waves,
we need to assess the impact
our choices might have
on our relationship.
And Ken even brings in Luke chapter 14, verse 28,
which talked about
counting the cost.
It's really emphasizing that
even small decisions
can have big impacts
in our marriages.
Ripple effects.
Precisely. It's about asking ourselves, what are the potential long-term consequences of this choice, and how might this affect us as a couple?
So what happens if you find yourself caught in a riptide?
Well, just like a surfer,
they might need a little help getting back to shore.
Every marriage faces challenges,
where seeking help is really crucial.
In his video, Don't Wipe Out, Get Help,
Ken highlights this.
He really emphasizes that asking for help,
it's not weakness.
It's a sign of strength. It shows that you're committed to growing together,
working through things together.
And Proverbs chapter 11, verse 15 supports this. It says, he who is surety for a stranger will surely suffer, but he who hates going surety is safe.
So where can we turn for help?
When those waves get rough.
Who should we call on?
Well, Ken suggests turning to pastors, trusted Christian friends, or even seeking guidance.
Guidance from
a Christian counselor. They can offer fresh perspectives, provide support, and help you work through those challenges in a healthy way.
Now let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about finding solutions together.
in his Everyone Wins video.
Ken uses a really interesting analogy, a flow rider. Have you ever seen those wave machines at water parks?
Yeah, they're so cool.
They're so fun. It's a great visual for problem solving in a marriage.
Two surfers on a flow rider, each trying to stay balanced and have fun.
They need to coordinate,
Their movements.
communicate effectively
And adapt.
together,
Exactly. It highlights the importance of finding win-win solutions.
where both partners feel satisfied.
And sometimes that requires out-of-the-box thinking.
Yeah.
Just like surfers trying new moves on a flow rider.
We might need to explore...
Different approaches.
Okay, so we've talked about avoiding danger, seeking help.
And finding solutions.
Now let's talk about communication. It's essential.
It's like the surfboard.
Of a healthy marriage, you could say.
Absolutely. And Ken uses surfing metaphors to talk about communication pitfalls.
Like ghosting the conversation.
You know that thing we all do when we're not really listening because we're already thinking about our response?
Ken really hits the nail on the head with his ghosting the conversation video.
We miss out on truly understanding our partner's perspective when we do that.
And there's even a proverb about that.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13 warns, "He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him."
It's so true.
Listening is just as important as speaking.
If not more so.
And this leads us to another video.
Listening with heart vibes.
It's not enough to just hear the words.
We need to feel what our spouse is feeling.
Empathy and understanding.
Put ourselves in their shoes.
Now, another major wipeout.
Selfishness.
Ken's Me First Sinks and Stinks video.
Explains how putting your own needs above your spouse's can lead to problems.
It's so easy to fall into that trap.
Especially in today's world.
But Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 and 4 encourage us to put others first.
Especially our spouses. All right, let's talk about something more positive.
Compliments.
Ken uses a great analogy in his video, riding it to the beach.
He compares receiving a genuine compliment to that feeling of catching the perfect wave.
It's such a simple yet powerful act.
That can really strengthen your bond.
And in his video, you nailed it. You crushed it.
He suggests making it a daily habit.
To compliment your spouse.
Actively looking for the good.
Expressing your appreciation in heartfelt ways.
I love that idea.
Me too. Now, timing is crucial.
For any surfer.
And even more so when it comes to those serious conversations in a marriage.
Like a captain wouldn't set sail if the crew wasn't ready. Right.
Exactly. Ken uses this sailing analogy in his Ready to Dive into a Chat video.
He suggests checking in with your spouse.
Asking, is this a good time to talk?
Before diving into a sensitive topic.
It's about creating a safe space for open and honest communication.
Where both partners feel respected and heard.
Before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive, let's take a moment to learn a bit more about Ken Schaefer himself.
We've got this article from the Newtown Bee titled "Pandemic Over But Changes Live On Through 60-Second Marriage Tips."
This article talks about how Ken and his wife Stephanie spent years
facilitating in-person marriage enrichment workshops,
helping couples build stronger relationships. And then the pandemic hit.
And he shifted his focus to creating these short videos.
Sharing them online for free.
And the feedback from his workshops
has been incredible.
People are saying his approach is making a real difference in their marriages.
It really is a testament to his passion.
For helping couples thrive.
And his ability to weave together these surfing analogies.
With biblical wisdom.
And his decades of experience.
Into these practical and easy-to-understand tips. Welcome back to our deep dive. We're continuing to explore these fascinating connections between surfing and marriage.
Yeah, we've already uncovered some really valuable strategies.
For strengthening relationships.
Avoiding those wipeouts.
Right, and we were just talking about timing those big conversations.
Making sure your spouse is ready.
Like a captain checking the crew before setting sail.
Exactly. Now let's talk about something else that's super important in communication. The tone we use. Sometimes our words can come across like crashing waves.
Yeah, even when we're trying to be helpful.
Frustration takes over, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Happens all the time.
Ken addresses this in his short, turning crashing waves of harshness into gentle mother's beach rolls.
I like that title.
He says, even when we're angry, we can choose to speak kindly.
Gently, like those calm waves on a beach.
And there's a proverb about that too.
Oh, there's always a proverb, isn't there?
Proverbs chapter 15, verse 1 says, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word spurs up anger.
It's so true.
Our words have power.
They can either make things better or worse.
It's not just about the words themselves, though, is it?
What else is there?
Our tone of voice, right?
Oh, absolutely. You can say I love you in a way that sounds sarcastic, or you can say it and really mean it.
It's all in the delivery.
Exact.
Speaking of delivery, let's go back to compliments for a minute.
I love compliments.
We were talking about how a heartfelt compliment is like catching that perfect wave.
Right. It can really brighten your partner's day.
And Ken goes even deeper into this in Riding It to the Beach. Receiving and giving honest compliments.
He says we should make it a habit.
To give compliments every day.
Yes. And be a specific, not just generic.
Like you're amazing.
Yeah, tell them why they're amazing.
I like that. Now, this reminds me of another one of Ken's tips.
Which one?
Look for the needs of your spouse.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Be observant, anticipate their needs.
Serve and support each other.
You know, something that struck me about Ken's approach is that he's very real about marriage.
What do you mean?
He doesn't shy away from the fact that every marriage needs help sometimes.
That's true.
He keeps emphasizing that seeking help is a good thing.
It's not a failure.
It's like having a guide to help you navigate those rough waters.
I like that analogy.
In his short, work potential issues so that they don't become issues later.
He encourages couples to be proactive.
Address potential problems before they become big problems.
Even suggests premarital counseling for couples who aren't married yet.
Yeah, build those healthy habits from the start.
And in Don't Wipe Out, Get Help, he reminds us.
That all marriages face challenges.
And that we don't have to go through them alone.
All right, let's lighten things up a bit.
Okay, what do you have in mind?
Remember that flow rider analogy?
With the two surfers?
Yeah, Ken uses that to talk about problem solving.
Right.
Well, in Weekly Fun Dates Boost Marital Happiness, he talks about having fun together.
Oh, fun is important.
He says we should schedule regular date nights.
Like those surfers carving up the waves.
Just enjoy each other's company.
Laugh, reconnect, build those memories.
He even mentions a program they used to do called 10 Great Dates.
Where couples went on a date every week for 10 weeks.
And the couples who did that,
They were happier.
it's proof that fun is essential in marriage.
Makes sense to me.
And sometimes fun might mean trying something new,
Stepping outside our comfort zones.
like a surfer catching a big wave.
Ken talks about that in Extreme Surfing and Marriage.
He encourages couples to be adventurous.
Embrace those crazy ideas.
Yeah,
Because you never know what might happen.
it could bring a whole new level of excitement to your marriage.
Exactly.
Before we wrap up this part, I want to touch on one last thing that really stood out to me.
What's that?
Ken talks about intuition.
Intuition.
Yeah, that gut feeling.
Oh, and the Holy Spirit.
Yes, he mentions this in You Nailed It, You Crushed It,
He says we should trust our gut and seek guidance from God.
especially when making big decisions.
Because sometimes things just don't feel right.
That's when we need to pause and reflect.
Seek wisdom.
It's a good reminder that we're not alone in this.
We have God to guide us.
He wants to help us through the challenges and celebrate the good times.
That's a beautiful thought.
All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Ken Schaefer's marriage wipeouts.
It's amazing how much we can learn from surfing.
Right. Who would have thought? We've talked about avoiding those riptides,
Seeking help, finding solutions.
even making time for fun.
And it all ties back to those surfing analogies and biblical wisdom.
So as we wrap up, what are some key takeaways we can remember?
One big one for me is that proactive awareness.
Yeah, like that surfer scanning the ocean.
We need to be mindful of our choices and how they affect our marriage.
Thinking ahead, anticipating those potential wipeouts.
Exactly.
And I love how those analogies help us see things in a new way.
Like a fresh perspective.
It's like, oh, I never thought of it like that before.
And of course, we can't forget about seeking support.
When things get tough,
Ken's right. Every marriage needs help sometimes.
it's not a sign of weakness.
It's a sign of strength.
Like having a guide to help you navigate those rough waters.
I like that.
One last thing that really stuck with me.
What's that?
From Ken's video, You Nailed It, You Crushed It.
Oh, yeah.
He talks about acknowledging the good things in our marriage.
Those compliments, those little gestures of appreciation.
Exactly. And he connects this to Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32.
Who says,
Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you.
it's so important to remember the good things.
Especially when things are tough.
So as we finish up, let's remember to be proactive in our marriages.
Seek help when we need it.
Embrace those new perspectives.
And most importantly,
Cherish the good times.
express that love and appreciation.
Remember, even small things can make a big difference.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into marriage wipeouts.
We hope you learned some valuable tips for riding those waves of marriage.
I remember, like Ken always says, hang 10.
And keep those boards waxed.
Okay, well, thank you for listening to that, and hope you listen into some other of my videos. Thank you so much.